Hi, welcome to Marks, and I shall give you a sign. I know it has been about 2 months since I posted. Approximately 2 months ago, my wife's cancer progressed. I should have picked it up when she started having the falls, but I didn't. Because she was losing her balance quicker. So, Joy died 25 days ago. Today is the 9th. It is always a hard thing to lose a mate. Joy was dying for 2.5 years. And let's put this in perspective. We're all dying. Okay, you get to a certain age, once you stop growing, then the process reverses itself. I'm very blessed. I exercise every day. I feel I have good health. I eat properly. Joy did all those things too, except for the exercise. Well, we all got something. And we discovered a glioblastoma, a brain tumor, right about here. Started out the size of a silver dollar, and it got bigger. Doubled in size. And they controlled it for a while. I want to thank Trinity Health, St. Francis Hospital in Hartford, Connecticut, for all they did. I also want to thank Hospice for all they did. Because about 2 months ago, I had to make that call. I had to call Hospice. Now, I knew then my wife was not in her right mind. Let's just put it that way. She was not happy about the call I made to Hospice, but it was at a point where I could not take care of her by myself. I want to thank my son Timmy, my son David. They were here all the time. Great kids. Now, I couldn't expect my daughter Rebecca and my son Joshua to be here because they live in Maine, and that is far from here. Rebecca is a mother of my granddaughter, and I was grateful that Joy got to see the granddaughter. Joy was pretty clear until the last 3 days of her life. And then she started to, she was sleeping like 22, 23 hours a day. But in the last 3 days of her life, Joy just refused food. And they told me not to force it on her, so I didn't. And it got to a point about 2 weeks after that, maybe 1 or 2 weeks, she refused water. Your body can go without food for 30 days. Water, I think 7. Since I'm not a doctor, I can't tell you for sure. On the second day, I could see the physical changes in her. I'd like to say I was a trooper, but I was a husband. I took care of my wife for about 2.5 years. I only missed 1 appointment when I had to go to the cardiologist. And Joy was fine with that. for most of her time, Joy did fairly well. But there comes a time for all of us that we're going to pass. And on the last day, I stepped out of the room for less than 60 seconds. Literally less than 60 seconds. And I came back, and her hands were folded, okay, like that, on her tongue. And I had a sneaking suspicion that she had passed. So I pinched her nose, closed the mouth. There was no reaction. I put my hand on the chest. There was no rise and fall. And I called hospice. That is procedure. Now, if you're smart, like hospices, they told me to have everything set up insofar as, in this case, it was the Cremation Society of Connecticut, okay? And they did. They came, they declared her. That means they made double sure she had passed. And within 2 hours, the Cremation Society was here and took her away. Now outside, I said, before you leave, I have to kiss my wife goodbye. I feel I did everything I possibly could do as a husband. And for 2 weeks, I was okay. All depends on what you think of as okay. But I know this. I stepped up. Okay? Because that was my job as a husband. I loved my wife. We were married for 42 years. And I know that my Redeemer liveth, and on the earth again shall stand. And I know Hebrews 11:1. Faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. And now I'm passing through the grief process. Now, last week was very rough. I was doing an awful lot of crying. I made it through Joy's memorial service. Okay, I did that. But that grief hit really hard. Now, someone had passed me information. I believe it was griefshare.com, something like that. And they have virtual grief meetings. I was at one today. Last week, I cried through the entire meeting. I fell apart. But I think I had to. Excuse me. But I also believe my God put me back together. I know my grieving is not done. Some people grieve for years. Some people grieve for days, and some people do not grieve at all. I have no idea where I am. But I am fortunate to have the grief meetings. I am even more fortunate to have someone in my life who is an extremely special individual. This person talks to me every night. Now, they say that I'm helping them sometimes, and there are times that I kind of feel like they're just helping me. But generally, every night, we go back and forth. Sometimes it's texting. By the way, I'm not a big fan of texting, but if it makes this individual feel good, I'm all in. Now, today, I turned my phone back on, my home phone, because I need to talk to people, even if it's a spammer, okay? because that gets me to exchange with the outside world. Grief is a very odd thing. It takes different forms, but it is necessary. See, I know my wife would not want me sitting home crying constantly. I know Joy would want me to get on with my life. That does not mean Joy is not here. Okay, she will always be here. She really will. But this individual that talks to me, when I say every night, I mean every night. Okay? Now, last night, we didn't connect last night. I don't know, something was up, but you know what? I felt that person's presence. This person is an amazing person. Absolutely amazing. They asked me to come up to their apartment and run errands. That's what we did. Went to Walmart. They went shopping. Got their medication, stuff like that. And I was more than happy to be there, because I need to get out of the house. And it's kind of hard for me to get out of the house. Okay, let's move on to redemption. There is no doubt in my mind where my wife is right now. There's no doubt. She is in the presence of God. I'm not going to sit here and say my wife was a perfect wife, but she was highly human. She was a very pretty girl, and she was a very kind person. One thing about Joy, now my boys and I joke about this. Joy would talk to anyone, particularly in the supermarket. Okay? Joy would start talking to the person next in line. Okay? And the boys and I would each pick a separate aisle and just go hide. See, Joy was a natural communicator. She loved people. She was amazing. And if nothing else, to redeem, she just cared. She cared about people's souls. She was a better person than I will ever be. And I dare say she made me the man I am today. Not the man I was probably for the first 30 years of my marriage, because there are times I was not a nice person. She was not a perfect wife, but she was a great wife. And in the last 12 years of our marriage, she was an amazing woman. And she is an amazing woman. Just because you leave the planet doesn't mean that you're any less of who you are. And I have to talk about pain too. There is a pain here. There is a feeling of absence. But that is why I have my children, and that is why I have this friend. Now you'll notice I have not mentioned her name. Oops. Their name. I was trying to stay away from whether it was a male or a female, but I guess I messed up. phenomenal person. Keeps me together. Okay? A very strong friendship. I'm very lucky to have them in my life. And they remind me of Joy. This person was Joy's best friend in high school. And they had a few good stories about Joy. And it is rumored that Joy and this person were Martians. Oh, I kid you not. There was photographic evidence of Joy and her friend being taken a picture of in Watertown by the theater, and obviously they were Martians. Well, I always knew there was something a little different about Joy. I never caught the antennas up. Actually, I did. You see, once you slip that wedding ring on your finger, that's a tracker. It's also a lie detector. Okay, I'm letting you guys know. That goes on, doesn't matter. It's made of gold, tungsten, odd metals, built-in lie detector. Men, you don't have a chance. Okay? So just save yourself the trouble. One great thing about telling the truth, you never have to remember which lie you told. Okay? And I miss her. But Joy is all around me. Joy has influenced me to become the person I am. I'm 66 years old. There are times I feel like I'm 66 years old. Today's not one of those times. Now today, Chica Dog and I went for a walk. Nice, warm, 94 degrees here in Woken. And Chica decided she really did not want to go for a long walk. I normally take her around the block at least. But she did not want to take a long walk. No way. It's a very hot day here. I think it's a hot day. And I want this video to be a tribute to Joy and the type of person she was. Joy homeschooled all 4 of our children up to high school level. Joy was a questionable housekeeper. But you know what? That is not the definition of a wife. In the scriptures it says, "He that findeth a wife findeth a good thing." And I had found a good thing. I remember when I engaged, asked her to, when I got engaged. I'm getting there. Okay. And I believe it was the Waterville Baptist Church. Don't quote me, because it was 42 years ago after all. And got down on one knee with my grandmother's engagement ring. And she said yes. An amazing, amazing girl. Wasn't a Hallmark marriage. Wasn't a perfect marriage. But it was a good marriage. And Joy had a tough upbringing. Let's just leave it at that. Okay? I don't ever speak ill of the dead, and I'm not referring to my wife, Joy. But she was a worker. Okay? And I am now here alone. which, to be honest, is pretty tough. Okay, it's just is. It's like the house got bigger. Now, I am in the room that Joy passed in. I generally don't come in here, basically because that air conditioner is broken. And I'm hoping that when my sons can get some time, we can yank it and put something else in there. I don't care what else we put in there, but something else is going in there. But Joy was a good soul. You know, Joy would never have made it as a politician because she didn't know how to lie. Really, she didn't. And she had that lie detector on me. But I have faith. Joy has been redeemed. And my grieving, my mourning has turned to love. Now, like I said, I'm very fortunate to have someone in my life that is a comfort to me. An amazing person. And when I say amazing, nothing short of amazing, okay? This person, when I was visiting, had a little trouble parking their car. And I said, why don't you let me do it for you? And they did. Now, one thing I'm really good at is parking. The car, that is, all right? Don't go somewhere you shouldn't. It's just my gift, okay? You see, I look out the window. That I don't have these fancy things in my car that show you the camera and where the lines are. No, I don't have that. But I got mirrors on both sides, okay? I'm going to brag on someone. I'm going to brag on the Powells. Green and Evan. That truck in my driveway, that's the one that's leaking the transmission fluid, okay? Which I can't get fixed right now. I know it's just a leak, but I can't get it fixed right now. But they gave me that. That is 3 tons of rolling steel. And these people that in these little cars that like to tailgate me, I hope I never have to hit the brakes when they're tailgating me because there won't be anything left. Right? You know, we are talking 3 tons of steel. And these little Kias and cars of the like, all right, they just can't take that kind of hit. The last time someone hit my truck, and it wasn't this truck, it was the truck before it, the Silverado, the car was totaled, and I lost a hubcap. Yeah, that's how it went. Anyway, I want to thank you for watching. It was a little hard for me to make this one because I've been off for so long. And I hope to be back. If you have a prayer request, let me know. Okay? And I'll pray for you. Now let's make it a righteous prayer request, shall we? I'm not going to pray that lottery ticket comes in. No. But I'll pray for your soul. I'll pray for your marriage. I'll pray that God gives you a heart like my wife, Joy. She is an amazing woman that God blessed me with for 42 years. Thank you for listening.